Welcome back to KC Talks EV, and yes, we are finally here at EVs Up North, which is the Yorkshire's EV Club's flagship event. So we've got a lot of cars here, a lot of owners willing to talk to a lot of the general public about their ownership experience. So let's go check it out. Okay, so as mentioned, we've got plenty of vehicles on show today. So we've got, for example, Nissan Leafs, we've got the Peugeot E208, so that is built on the Stellantis platform, so very similar to the Corsa, I believe. Really lovely. Do apologise about the noise, but I'm sure that you can probably hear me. We've got a Mustang Mach-E here. Now, I absolutely love this vehicle. In fact, actually, I reviewed the Mustang Mach-E very recently, that you can go check that out. Really lovely. So here we've got a Tesla Model 3. I absolutely love that gorgeous red colour as well, which is really nice. So we've got here one of our admin team's Kia e-Niro, and as you can see here, it is using the vehicle to load, which is quite an interesting thing, really. It allows, I think, up to either 2 or 3 kilowatt output as well. In fact, actually, one of our admin teams is just demonstrating that, actually. We've got this, I've always wanted one of these, actually, these frying pans with the built-in heating element, and obviously we've got a kettle as well. So really useful things like power cuts, camping, things like that. Now, this is something which I've been really excited to talk to. So this is Jamie's modified BMW 320d. It's obviously not a diesel anymore, but look at that. That is really cool. And in fact, actually, I am going to talk to him a little bit later about that. Right, so I'm in a very special vehicle right now. This is Jamie, and he does also have a YouTube channel. I will link it in the description as well. First of all, Jamie, I mean, we're not going to talk about this car that we're in, but what other cars have you actually converted previously?
So previously I've converted a 2003 VW Beetle. That one was a project to see how cheaply I could convert a car. The original version of that brought it in at under £2,000, including the car. It was from a Golf GT hybrid, just the one pack from that, so that's 8.8 kilowatt hours. It's got a Outlander charger and DC-DC converter, so those are quite cheap as well. An Outlander front motor, it's supposed to be about 65 kilowatts, but I've had 75 out of it. Prius inverter, paid between 20 quid and 80 for those, so those are pretty cheap. And then I added a second and then a third battery pack. I added CHAdeMO for rapid charging, and then I drove that 13,000 miles. I've been to Wales in it, I've been Manchester, Mablethorpe, I've been Leicester, I've been all over in that car. Then my wife said that car was too small, and then obviously that means buy a bigger one and convert that. So,
and I'm guessing this is what we're in, aren't we?
So yeah, that's what we're in now. It's a 2006 BMW E91, so that's the estate version of a 3 Series. I paid 500 quid for the car with a knackered engine. Head gasket had gone.
And we were actually just discussing this. Jamie and I were discussing the fact that apparently it was a very interesting situation when you were trying to get CAN bus readings, I believe.
Yeah, so it was drivable, but it was one of those, I'd probably get pulled, or I'd have to drive it in the middle of the night. So I got it delivered, put it on drive, could put my CAN logger onto the PT CAN, and started this up, and there was that much smoke. One of the neighbours who lives across the road, he came running over shouting, "Your Beetle's on fire, your Beetle's on fire." And I had to explain to him that the Beetle's not on fire. So the motor and inverter are from a Lexus GS450H hybrid that doesn't have the engine on, so it's completely electric. So I've just used the transmission and the inverter, that's at the front. The transmission is in the tunnel here, that's connected to the prop shaft, the original BMW prop shaft, both MG1 and MG2 for propulsion. So that gives us quite a lot of power and a lot of torque. The battery is from a Renault Kangoo, whatever it is called, the Renault.
Something like that.
The Renault van. It seems it's a 36 kilowatt hour battery pack. So yeah, it uses the original BMS. So I read all the messages off that, stick to the limits that the BMS is saying. So the BMS will say I can have this many amps, or I can give out this many amps, and then the battery thinks it's still in the Kangoo. The BMS works just as it did.
The fact is, I'm sat here, and I'll put some footage here. It is literally basically stock. There is nothing in here apart from this screen here, which is in any way not.
Yeah, and that's just a Android Auto. So it's not. There's no like the fuel gauge tells me my state of charge. My MPG gauge tells me how much amps I'm pulling. The rev gauge works as it did. The speedo works as it did. Everything. It's running, and the noise you can hear is the vacuum pump, because the Tesla iBoost is quite expensive, and I think MG still use their pump, don't they?
They do use, yeah.
So yeah, so it's just a vacuum pump that pulls vacuum for the assisted brakes. Power steering works, ABS works, everything works.
A lot of people are considering doing things like EV conversions on, for example, classic cars, really.
Yes.
And obviously there's quite a lot of advantages for that. You get a bit more of a daily driver with this one. This was already, well, apart from the head gasket failure, was a daily driver already.
Yes.
What kind of tips can you give to someone who, for example, is looking to convert?
Well, I guess it depends on the reason they're looking to convert, and many people have many other reasons. Like it's classic, you want to use it daily and all that. And my particular reason for this car, I wanted a reasonably priced electric estate that could do 100 miles, and I didn't want to have anything in the cabin space, and that was my target for this one. I mean, if you set your goals up front, then it's easier to plan what you want to achieve, and then you're not just gonna go hell for leather and just build anything. So I think, yeah, set your goals up front. You're not going to spend next to nothing, get Tesla performance and Tesla range. You're not going to do 500-600 miles on a charge. But if you set reasonable expectations, so like the e-Corsa packs, they're going for between 1,500 and £2,000, and they're what, 55 kilowatt hours?
Yeah, about
so
there.
Yeah, I wrote a module for OVMS to support Zombieverter. So now I've got the app on my phone, and I can just look at OVMS.
Wow. Okay.
So I can now see state of charge, where my car is, and all that on OVMS. So like when I go away and I take the car and I charge it where I'm not within range of the Wi-Fi, I could check on the car and see when it's finished charging, and then just go and pick it up.
Overall, I mean, you mentioned obviously a YouTube channel, and as I said, Jamie has a YouTube channel. So what is it called?
But if you search for Smokey Joe EV conversion, you will find it. It's you will see this BMW and the Beetle.
So we're now outside the car now. So this is actually what used to be the engine bay, obviously. Jamie's here with
still got the thing on.
Daisy.
Yeah. So this is the battery pack. That's the biggest thing under the box, under the bonnet. Safety disconnect. So when you pull that, there's no chance of high voltage leaving. This is a quick and rough and ready CHAdeMO charging, just for a trip I needed to do. Like I said, I'm going to have CCS, but I just threw that under quickly. This is the charger and DC-DC converter from Mitsubishi Outlander. Yeah, you can get much smaller chargers these days, but there it is. That is the inverter from the GS450H, and you can't see it, but in the tunnel there is the motor. That's the vacuum pump, the vacuum reservoir just down there.
So is that what we heard in the car, just getting ready?
That's pretty much the only noise you can hear is this vacuum pump. Like I say, if I had Tesla money, I could buy an iBooster and get rid of that, but these work. They're relatively cheap. They work just fine. Yeah, so you can't really see much else. There's a little radiator down there that you'll not be able to see. But yeah, it's just
wondering, is this a custom battery box?
It is, yes.
Okay.
So it's something I built. So yeah, it's just a custom. It's just a box. Support all the modules. The BMS is in there. It's at the back. It's got a blow-off valve there, so the box should ideally be completely sealed, and then with a blow-off valve.
So that's obviously thermal runaway if you need to vent gases.
Yeah, so that'll vent. Obviously, safety disconnect's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So this is one from the Renault that came with the battery pack, so may as well use that one. It uses the, you can't see them, but around the back, it's got the proper high voltage disconnects for the cables, so the orange connectors. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, needs a bit of tidying, but yeah, that's my quick and dirty OVMS install.
I noticed that. I think that's the GPS and that's the GSM antenna. So.
Yeah, so I'm going to install that somewhere a bit less obvious, but I quickly threw that in just for the weekend. And that's
I probably should have asked, what was the total cost of the car?
So the car was 500, and then I think in total I've spent about £3,000, so about 3,500 altogether.
Oh, nice.
So it's, yeah, I mean, like I'm saying, battery prices are just plummeting at the minute. So, I mean, if somebody else wanted to build one, you could probably easily achieve that sort of price, or even cheaper. It's worth giving it a go.
Oh, I'm going to give it a go, I think, absolutely. So, you might see me on the channel at some point trying to tackle this, and probably Jamie actually maybe helping me out with
There's quite a friendly community that's willing to help and stuff, so if it's something that interests you, look up Open Inverter and get on there and give it a go.
Certainly will. So we've got Kia EV6. They've just recently announced the facelift version of this vehicle as well. We've got the Honda ENY1 here. So this is Honda's new, well, somewhat new electric vehicle. There's been some absolutely amazing deals actually of this one that have been announced more recently. Here's the Nissan Townstar. So actually, this is one of the newer electric commercial vehicles available. Last year, I brought a Maxus e-Deliver free, but this time around, I've got a BYD Dolphin, which you can actually have a look at. We've got a Hyundai Kona and also a Hyundai Ioniq 5 over here. And in fact, actually, there's one of our admin teams cooking up bacon for bacon sandwiches and things like that, which is absolutely lovely. Another thing I probably should mention now is that the Yorkshire EV Club is sponsored by Sheffield Car Charging. Please go check them out. We've obviously got QR codes and links. They've kindly provided us with so many different things. So this includes obviously our new tablecloth, some brand new flags, which is absolutely lovely to see again. And we're actually going to be talking to them in a moment regarding car charging, etc. Okay, so our new sponsor for the Yorkshire EV Club, so this is Sheffield Car Charging. I'm here with Ollie here. So first of all, obviously, what does Sheffield Car Charging do?
So we predominantly fit domestic and commercial chargers across South Yorkshire and even Yorkshire. So we fit for businesses. We've just tendered for a school in Maltby, and then obviously residential flats and stuff like that.
Excellent. So what kind of kit do you normally fit?
So we fit predominantly ohms. We find they work really well because a lot of people are going to the Octopus and the OVO tariff. Mm-hmm. So with that, we know that that's a qualifying charger rather than wondering if the car will qualify or if they swap it in the future. So we tend to fit the ohms. We fit the Zappies. Commercially, we'd fit the Easy 22 kilowatts because you can interlink them. So you can have more chargers and not worry about infrastructure and demand on the grid.
Oh, excellent. So is that their daisy chaining feature?
The daisy chaining feature, which is actually available on the Easy one as well.
Oh, nice.
So you can have up to 3 on there, but obviously as it bring it down, you'd be more like a granny charger.
Of course, yeah. I mean, what is your kind of, are you getting more business through the commercial side or the residential side?
The residential's the bulk of the work. The commercial side we're seeing a big increase in with the government grants as well. So they're up to claim a lot of money back, and so they brought out the school grant earlier this year.
Oh, right.
So that one was eligible for quite a bit of money off.
I'll have to inquire about that one.
It's a new one. Not many people know about it.
Oh, nice. So overall, I mean, what's kind of your standpoint on electric vehicles? Because we're in actually, I'm guessing one of your works van, and you mentioned that.
So this is one of ours. There's a Rosette there. I didn't see that. Sorry. So yes, so this is the van. We've got the Tesla. We've just found it so much easier. I mean, the cost as well with the tax saving to go through the business, which is really good. But the cost itself of running the vehicle, it works out at like 2p a mile.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer, and I don't know why many more don't quite go for it, but we're getting there one step at a time.
And well, you're the one who's facilitating it really, as alongside other installers, and it's a great thing to see again. And another thing as well, when it came to sort of, sponsorship, etc., we wanted to make sure we had someone who, first of all, actually understood electric vehicles. You know, we didn't want to be sponsored by, some, I don't know, health food or something like that. Finally, talking about that, how can they find you?
So we're across all social media. We've got Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. The website's www.sheffieldcarcharging.co.uk. Or you can call us on 0800 999 1745 and we can discuss your requirements if you've got any questions. So yeah, any social channels and the website.
Happy days. And again, it is actually also linked on the Yorkshire EV Club's page as well, as you can see from the banners, but also I will link it in the description if you would like to find out more. So
lovely.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Ollie.
you.
No, it's still.
Cheers.
So as you can see here, we're enjoying a nice tea and coffee because of Craig's vehicle to load, so that's always good. So as you can see here, we've got some absolutely lovely Wagyu steak. Jack over here likes his steak blue, so that's why that one's done already. So how much battery have you used, Craig?
Less than 1%.
That's a 1%.
To cook bacon and sausages this morning, about Kettle's been on about 4 or 5 times. Air fryer for chips and some steak.
I just to make it clear, yeah, there is definitely an air fryer in the boot of the Island car. The only reason why it's in the boot at the moment is because I think it started to rain a little bit. So, but as you can see here, we do have the whole setup. We've got, yep, there's the Wagyu beef steak, medium rare.
Yep, medium rare.
Beautiful.
Got to put kettle on now and have a cup of tea with you.
Oh, happy days.
Right, this guy here, he gets the prize with a rosette for the best Honda ENY1. Can't fault it, it's one of the best cars here. I love Honda. Get it that way, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I think that is pretty much it from EVs Up North 2024. So if you liked the video or you found it informative, please like the video. Dislike it if you didn't. Please share this to anyone who is considering going to EVs Up North 2025 next year. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So thank you for watching and talk to you later.